All right, let's talk about one of the most maddening feelings on the planet. You know the one. Your brain can hold on to the most ridiculously complex, obscure information, but the simple, everyday stuff? Poof, gone. Today we're getting into why your brilliant mind can feel so forgetful.
Does this sound like you? I mean, you can probably walk a friend through the entire plot of a super complex movie, or maybe you know a shocking amount about some ancient empire, but you just spent the last 10 minutes tearing your house apart looking for the keys that were in your hand like a second ago. You're not alone, not even close, and there's a really fascinating reason why this happens.
And this is where it gets kind of wild, right? Just look at this contrast. On one side, you've got the mundane stuff. Keys, wallets, names, appointments, the things that just seem to evaporate. And on the other side, this incredible, almost encyclopedic knowledge of vast, intricate subjects. This isn't just a funny little quirk. It's a huge clue about how your brain is actually built to work.
So let's dive right into the heart of this paradox, because we're going to reframe this whole thing. This isn't about you being messy or absent-minded. No, it's about your brain playing a completely different game, with a completely different set of rules.
Because here's the absolute core of it. What feels like a memory failure isn't a failure at all. It's actually a sign that you have a highly specialized cognitive system doing its thing. Your brain is making choices, very specific choices, about what's worth holding on to, and we're about to find out why.
Okay, so first up, we've got to look at the science of how your brain prioritizes things. Because it's not some passive filing cabinet just storing everything that comes in. Oh no. It's an active manager, and it's constantly deciding, is this worth my energy, or is this just noise?
And the key idea here has a name: selective organization. Just think about it like this. Your brain has a limited budget of attention and energy. And like any good manager, it wants to invest that energy where it's going to get the best possible return. For your brain, that return is in understanding deep, complex patterns and systems, not keeping track of boring surface-level stuff.
So this is basically your brain's strategy for success. Its to-do list is simple. Number 1, prioritize the big picture stuff, the systems, the stories, the why behind everything. Number 2, to do that well, it has to ignore all the little arbitrary details, like the exact GPS coordinates of your wallet. All of this is in service of one goal: peak mental efficiency.
Okay, but you might be thinking, what about all those random, totally useless facts that I know? Why do they stick? Well, it turns out your brain is getting a seriously powerful reward for learning them. Get this. Every single time you stumble on some new, fascinating piece of information that just grabs your attention, your brain gives you a little hit of dopamine. Yeah, that's the same chemical that's all about pleasure and motivation. So your brain is literally rewarding you for feeding your curiosity. It feels good.
And it creates this amazing, powerful little loop. You see something new and interesting, your curiosity lights up. You get that little dopamine reward, and bam, the memory gets reinforced, locked right into place. Now think about it. Remembering where you put your keys. There's zero dopamine reward in that, so that memory never gets the same chemical superglue.
And all of this leads us to another massive piece of the puzzle. Your brain isn't really designed to remember random bits of data. It's designed to remember stories, connections, and meaning.
Just look at this breakdown. It's so clear. On the left, you have these arbitrary labels: a name, a date, a location. They're just isolated data points floating in space. But on the right, you have a web of knowledge: the story behind the person, the goal of the project, the reason you're going for a drive. Your brain is an absolute superstar at remembering things that connect to a bigger, meaningful picture. A name is just a label. A life story? That's a rich narrative it can really sink its teeth into. So, at the end of the day, your brain isn't failing you when it forgets a name. It's actually doing some housekeeping. It's clearing out what it considers to be random noise to make more room for what it loves to do: wrestle with complex problems. But what about the moment of forgetting? You know, the actual instant you put your phone in the refrigerator. Well, the answer is pretty simple. Your mind was probably millions of miles away.
And this part is absolutely crucial. You didn't forget where you put your keys. The truth is, the memory was likely never even formed. Your conscious mind was so deep down the rabbit hole, solving a problem, analyzing a situation, connecting ideas, that it literally didn't even register the physical action of putting the keys down. So while your body was on autopilot, putting the keys down, your brain was a whirlwind of activity. It was running a half dozen thoughts at once, examining some problem from every possible angle, maybe even practicing a future conversation. The result? Total cognitive overload. There just wasn't any bandwidth left to notice, let alone record, something as mundane as where you put your keys.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together now. It is time to stop thinking of this as some kind of personal flaw and to start seeing it for what it truly is, the signature of a highly specialized mind.
I absolutely love this quote from our source material because it just hits the nail on the head. You're not being messy, you're being mentally efficient. Your focus isn't on surface-level tidiness, it's on the deep, internal organization and efficiency of your thoughts. And that's the ultimate reframe, isn't it? Stop thinking of your brain as a general-purpose hammer. Think of it as a finely tuned, highly specialized instrument, like a high-powered telescope. Yeah, it might be terrible at hammering nails, but it is absolutely exceptional at its real job, decoding the universe, analyzing complex systems, and seeing the big picture.
So if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this: you do not have a bad memory. Your brain just has a different, and you could say a much deeper set of priorities.
So the next time you can't find your keys, maybe instead of getting frustrated, you can smile and ask yourself a better question. Okay, what fascinating problem, what incredible idea, what complex story was my brain so busy with that it didn't have time for this? And maybe, just maybe, you'll start to appreciate your brilliant, forgetful mind just a little bit more.